Okay, so good day everyone. My name is Arnel Madraso. I'm the teacher blogger. So for tonight, I'm really excited to be doing a reaction video. So this is a live reaction video on the Ed Sheeran's current documentary entitled In My Own Words. And so for the exact link, so I already shared in the description above the link of the documentary. So I last time I had a chance to really view the documentary, and really inspiring documentary, and that I really found it to be, well, very informative. So so that would be the order of conversation tonight. So we will start with the documentary, then I'll start also singing, and I'd like to welcome you all in my music studio, and that I'd like to share to you my thoughts about the video, about the documentary. So I prepared. I really took time to listen to view the documentary, and from the start, when Ed Sheeran started from scratch. So really he started from scratch and until he became very famous. So let me start by giving you, I already provided the link, so please view the link of Ed Sheeran's documentary. And then I also gave a question. So for number 2 topic, I gave a question. So the question would be, what are the benefits? What are the benefits and pitfalls of fame? No? So now, talking about this question, this is really highly related with the life of the career of Ed Sheeran. So for those of you who are followers of Ed Sheeran, and if you are familiar with this song, so this documentary is for you. And I hope you already watched the documentary. And so on my part, I'm not really a fan, no? But then later, actually it started this way, Let me start with the vlog note number 1. So when I returned to Manila in 2017, I was bringing with me a second-hand iPhone. So that iPhone, I bought that with the built-in albums already. So there were songs, and part of the song there, I think there were 2 songs of Ed Sheeran, and then I don't know him. So I just, there's the name Ed Sheeran, but I don't know him. I don't know the composer, the singer. I'm just listening to the song. And so this one, let me begin with the song A-Team. So the A-Team was the first successful single where Ed Sheeran became very famous. And I think if you're a fan of Ed Sheeran, you know what I'm talking about. So A-Team, this was really very meaningful song to me, because every time I report to Far Eastern University, when I take the train. The train is LRT, in the Philippines, and so that in to and fro when I go to school, the song that I play is A-Team, and then when I return home, A-Team also. I keep on listening to the song. I don't know what was drawn to me, what made me listen to that song. Maybe it's because of the melody. The melody is kind of sentimental, and then the melody is a bit, there's the feeling of there's emotion. When you listen to a song that is a bit sentimental, you're able to relate with the song, but you still don't really know what really is the meaning of the song. Now the lyrics could be missing someone, but then I don't really know the story behind the song A-Team. When I viewed this documentary later on, when I used to play the ukulele with the songs of Ed Sheeran, later I had the interest already of listening to him, his life, and his work. So the first song is A-Team. So that was the first big single that he released, where he became famous, no? And later I realized, when I was listening to the documentary, so the story of A-Team was not just a simple sad story between boyfriend and girlfriend or missing someone. It's not. It's really the story of a drug addict, a woman whom Ed Sheeran had the chance to interview. So he interviewed that woman who became a drug addict, And so that woman died of drug addiction. So that how deep A Team song is. So that really became a hit because, you know, the British, no, in England, people were able to relate right away with the song. And that made him instant famous with the composition. And so, yeah, the meaning and melody of the song sounds sad and melancholic. And maybe that's the reason why I was drawn to that song, because at that time I was far from my family. I was far from my family, but I wasn't yet uh, certain as to what was the story behind the song A Team. So that song A Team really put a signature already, a trademark on Ed Sheeran that he really can compose, no? Now, on only in this documentary, I found that the song was based on that real girl or a woman who was into drug addiction. That woman, I think, passed away because of drug addiction. Uh, but you know, the story when you're viewing this documentary, before he became really very famous, he used to really look for opportunities for him to be heard. For example, in the documentary, it was presented there that he used to play in small gigs, no, in small clubs, you know, trying to, you know, at least 3 times a week. He was a really very hardworking musician who tried his luck in small events, you know, tried to showcase what he can do, what he can perform, no. So even in small gigs in England, he used to really try his best, you know, to present what he has, no, to perform, to showcase his musical talents. I think he even dropped out from school in order to focus on his music, no? And that the big break, other than the music 18, the single, he had a big break when he guested in when he was a chance to guest on SPTV. SPTV is like a live stream. So this was the first time when the people in the internet world, had the chance to see what he can do, what he can play, how he will be able to play. No, in this documentary, just please click the link. You can view the documentary. In that music, you know, he somehow had a freestyle, no, of the beat, no, the rhythm, and then he mixed it with a bit of a rapping. As you know, his idol rapper is Eminem. So he's also and 50 Cent. So he can also rap. And so in that performance in SPTV, he added his talent also in rapping and with the beat of pop. No, so that's the story. Then after that, after the internet exposure, then the A Team released. Then people in England thought, you know, even the journalists, music journalists, thought that, you know, it's very difficult to beat the first single. So what's next for him after A Team? So after A Team, the journalists were predicting that's the end. So what else can he show? What else can he compose in order to get the attention of the public? And then after A Team, he released Legoland. Okay, Legoland, that turns out to be a smashing success also. Then he won 2 British awards, Brit Music Awards. So he won, then performed during the Brit Awards. What I like in Ed Sheeran is that, what I really like in him is that he is grounded in him being a music artist. He is not really into all this fancy stuff, but he just like to remain who he is. In fact, his guitar is still the same guitar when he started, no? His guitar and the way his clothes, no, his get up, it's still the same. He performed in these prestigious awards where all were in formal attire, but he was just wearing a green t-shirt with jeans. And then he performed in front of the artists, and it was just a blast. And there he showed the fellow musicians, that he really can. He's really a talent, no? Then he received awards. And other than the British awards, he also received awards from the fellow musicians, no? Fellow composers, fellow musicians. Then wrote songs. Then after that, so do you know how to spot someone who will be one of the greatest composers? When that musician will write for someone else. So he's not only writing for himself. He wrote a very successful single, and he wrote a song for One Direction. So if you're a fan of One Direction, he composed songs for One Direction, and it became a hit. So that's an indication, that's a signal that that composer can really become one of the greatest composers when, even if he will not be writing, even if he will not be singing his own song, he will be writing a song for other artists, then it will become a hit. That's an indication that he will become one of the greatest composers. And in fact, he became one of the greatest composers, no? Not only not only in England, but around the world. No? And then here is a great opportunity for him to challenge himself to play in one of the biggest stadium. I think this is the biggest stadium in United Kingdom. They called it Wembley Stadium. So he was able to had a chance to play in Wembley Stadium. So in that Wembley Stadium, that can accommodate as much as 90,000. Huh? So 90,000 people, spectators listening to him. And then you know what's great about Ed Sheeran? He doesn't have a band. He is his own band. No, when he plays he is just playing the guitar, and then he's just using devices for loop. So that looper can actually create a -1, and then he can create a beat, and then it's as if he's the only one performing, but it records, and then it's actually playing again. That's looper. So imagine that, playing in a stadium of 90,000 capacity with only one person doing it. And I think it was really first time that the Brits saw someone who can do it alone, without any band, without any dancers. He's the only one doing everything. He does even rap, and with his own guitar, and with his gadgets that would record the beats and all. And so that was one of the greatest performances of Ed Sheeran. And then he was nominated in the Grammys, in the American Grammys in the US, but at first he didn't win award with the single Thinking Out Loud. And then at first he didn't win, and when he composed Thinking Out Loud, this is one of my favorite songs, Thinking Out Loud. When I play this in my ukulele, I think this is one of the greatest compositions I've ever played and I've ever encountered. It's the notes. So Thinking Out Loud, the notes really, the melody, it's really not that difficult to play. But the chords is just genius. No? The chords really just flow. It's just like flowing. The melody and the lyrics would really be very inspiring to sing. Right? So for Thinking Out Loud, music journalists wouldn't really think, this is some sort of a ballad. So they didn't think that this would make this big. In fact, this song, Thinking Out Loud, won in American Grammys, Grammys Award. So that was the first single that cemented him to be a famous musician already in the industry. And then he performed with Elton John, but it's not Elton John who really made him big in US, but it was Taylor Swift. So Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift are friends. Now, they are not dating, but they're friends. Now, what's the beauty here is that because of Taylor Swift, he was able to tour. Had a long tour with Taylor Swift around the United States, and that made him a very successful performer already here in the United States. And that sold out concerts worldwide. For every concert that he would be doing abroad, so it sold out. So it's really very successful. He became really very successful. And then he took a break with this girlfriend in Japan for 1 year, went into hiatus, and then rested. And from that point, you can already see that he's exhausted. So here, we can already connect this with the question, what's the benefits and pitfalls of fame? If you look at Ed Sheeran, there were no reports that he became a bad personality. There were no bad reports against him, no? Although there were rumors that he was dating someone, but talking about addiction, drinking, there were no reports on this one. he was a humble, grounded person, grounded artist. The only news that came out really was he went on a leave. He went on a hiatus with his girlfriend in Japan for 1 year. He didn't compose, he didn't do anything. Then he took a break and got married. So he's married now, and then the last news that I read, he has a child now. No, he has a child. His wife gave birth to a child, so he is now a father. But in a current report that I read, Policarpio 2020, in an article, I was shocked. No, I was shocked that he revealed something. He revealed, because he's not, as I said, he's really not that type of celebrity who would be seeking for attention. He's really not a bad celebrity. You know, he is a low profile type of celebrity. No bad reports against him. But this one, there was an interview, and then this Policarpio article reported on this. And so, in this article, he confessed that there are pitfalls to fame. And what are those pitfalls to fame? So on his part, remember that he's doing a lot of tour, like for example, doing a tour with Taylor Swift and the other tours that he did worldwide. There was an instance he admitted that the whole day he will just sleep. Then when he wakes up, he would eat a lot of. He went into binge eating it. He just ate a lot. No, that was his addiction. He was not addicted to drugs. No, he was addicted to food. He was just eating a lot of junk foods. No, binge eating, and then drinking also. But this was not reported before. It came from him that there was a time, especially during the tour, the only places he would see would be the bus and the stage. Bus and the stage. He would eat in the bus, sleep in the bus, and then the stage before performance, he would drink a lot. So he became addicted to alcohol. He drank a lot and ate a lot. And so why is that? So what's the pitfall? Number one pitfall is that, according to him, it's as if when he wakes up, at first he said it was very exciting. It was really very exciting. You know, the adrenaline rush of people shouting for more performances, you know, the clap, the audience affirmation that he's really a good composer, the success, awards after awards after awards. And then what happened with him was that there was a point in time where he felt the emptiness. So here's the question. What is this with these people who at first seem to be really motivated to become successful? Once they achieve the success already, it's as if they don't value anymore the success. You know why? It's because of the emptiness. Is it normal to live your life on tour? When you go on tour, you'll only see the bus and the stage, bus and the stage, bus and the stage. So what about your loved ones? What about your girlfriend? What about your family? You will start to miss them when it's already a long tour. And as a performing artist before, I used to tour also. I used to perform also on tour. It's a cultural presentation. My only role there was to sing a doxology. And really, at first it was exciting, but if you already do it for quite some time, for a long period of time, from one place to the other, it's as if you begin to think whether what you're doing is still normal or not. See, what the performing artists would do, the musicians on tour performing, it would entail a lot of professionalism. If you're not professional, because it's a teamwork. Whenever you are performing, you're not only performing by yourself. It's true that he's performing on the part of Ed Sheeran. He's an individual performer, but there are a lot of people in this concert. Directors, other performers also, like Taylor Swift. So again, it will entail a lot of patience on your part. So before, I used to, if the call time is 7, in the program it's 7, but at times it would start at 9, especially if you're performing in a beauty contest. So let's say intermission number, you dance. The call time is 8, but then it would start late. You will be performing at 10. Sometimes it would be moved to 11. Then you'll have to really wait until the show will be over. And so sometimes you go home at 1, 2 a.m. in the morning after your performance. So what is that? So that is really emptiness. That's the pitfall. Number one pitfall of of fame is really emptiness. It's just like, what am I doing here? It's like, when you start questioning yourself, what am I doing here? It also came to my point, it also came to my my experience as a performing artist. Whenever you're waiting for your number, it's exciting. But if you're always doing it, and then you wait for your number, and then it's already late at night, you start asking yourself, what am I doing here? The life of performing artists, it's true, it's not normal. It's really not normal. The rest are already home, resting. Oh, that's why, what happened to him? He took a break. Ed Sheeran took a break with his girlfriend in Japan for 1 year. He just took a break. And later on, in this documentary, with all the success, I think the documentary ended by saying that he would want to have a family. And in fact, he did entered into a family life. So since his addiction was into binge eating junk foods and all, good thing that his wife now is a healthy person. His wife is really into eating healthy food, no? So his wife is to healthy food, doing exercise, and he's influenced by her. So good thing that he married a good person. So some people would be asking, what if he ended up marrying Taylor Swift? They can be together. You know why? Because they're both positives. For a battery to work, there has to be positive and negative. They're both positives. They are very competitive. They would want to always have a sold out concert. So if they will be together, it cannot be that they will always be on tour. There has to be a normal life at home, cooking, spending time with your wife and your child, children at home. That's a normal life. But this is one of the pitfalls of fame. It seems like you're not living a normal life anymore. It's like the emptiness of living a life, no? Like them. But what's the benefits? The benefits is financial security. You'll have a lot of savings, you'll have a lot of properties, just like Ed Sheeran. He was able to buy a lot of properties in England. He was able to buy a lot of properties in England, and that, there are a lot of benefits when you become famous, But again, the lesson here is that you really have to be careful with your decision making, especially in terms of addiction. Wake up in the morning, what will you do? But for others, there are a few artists who would really be having a very strong spiritual life. Some of these artists, a few of the artists would be channeling their earnings, their wealth to foundation. Example, victims of calamities, or sometimes cancer patients, and they are really very close with their religious affiliations. They would always have time for religious affiliations. Okay, so that's it for my reaction to the documentary of Ed Sheeran. So now I'm a fan. So after all these things, after listening, learning a lot from him, this vlog can also serve as a reminder to the artist. If you're listening to me now, if you're into music, if you're starting to become famous, if you're already heading this way, if the trajectory is heading this way, just always remember to go back to your priorities. What are really your main priorities in life? So if your inspiration with your family, you really have to stay on course, no? Careful with the addiction. Okay, so thank you for listening to me.